and welcome to the No Taboo Woo Show.
I'm Sandra Logan.
And I'm Gail Chisholm.
If you enjoy being a fly on the wall of deep and meaningful conversations between pals on all things spirituality, healing, and personal empowerment, then you have landed in the right podcast.
Enjoy today's episode. Hello.
I'm noticing in the background that you have done your office, so it's looking like more organised.
bit,
Got all your stuff
yeah.
in. Is it good
I'm
to
hoping
have
it'll sound less echoey with all the tarot cards absorbing the noise.
Before we went live, Gail went into her drawer. She's got one of those boxes behind was like full of decks.
Uh-huh.
Love
I
that
know.
for you.
Exactly.
that for
It's I know. It is bijou. It's the word for my office. But it's cozy. It feels so much better like having my stuff around, and I've got some groovy crystals and I've got like a wee Buddha. I've actually started to create a little altar, which because I'm doing my Reiki course and she suggested, so I have to share this with you. So on my altar, I do have a truth bomb on there, but it's yesterday's truth bomb, but I'll read it out.
What was the truth bomb?
If it doesn't light you up, you're not the right person for the job.
Oh.
So
That's very
getting on.
generator energy, isn't it? Human design.
Yeah. So I've got, this is on my tarot box. And then on there, there's a little Buddha. There's a piece of citrine. Is it citrine? Calcite. Orange calcite.
Oh, that's vibrant.
My new fairy finger quartz is sitting there, plus a candlestick and candle that my friend Fee gave me.
Oh, nice.
I actually I've also been like, fuck Bob with the whole incense thing, because you know I've said on an
This
episode
is my
before.
office. This is my
Well,
ear.
Absolutely, because you know I've said he's one of these people that can sort of taste smells, and he was like, but I was at the crystal shop, the Citrine Circle, with Sam last week when I got my fairy finger and my beautiful clear quartz orb. But I also picked up some incense. This was when I was like, rebel. It's money incense. Yes, please.
One before. Money.
Nice.
Did that one have one of the golden eras stashed away inside it?
Era.
Have you opened it?
Yes.
Oh, I had, maybe it was a different money one, but it was one of the Satya ones, and there was like a little box inside with a sample of a different one. I'm sure it was called Golden Era, and it was lovely.
Gutted that I haven't been like Charlie in the Chocolate Factory and had a gold thing in my money.
Do you know what? The little surprise things are the best when you're not expecting something, and then you're like, ah, that was nice.
I mean, something like that would be cool.
Yeah.
So I've set up my altar. Part of this is for my guardian guide. It's a crow.
Oh, nice.
So because it is a crow, left an offering.
Is it
for the
Sharpie?
crow.
What
No,
is it?
it's
What are
Twiglets.
they? It's I was like, is that Twiglet?
It's like, Freddie agrees. He's like, I'll have the Twiglets. I had some Twiglets on my desk when I was setting up the altar, and the lady who runs the course, Jane. Hey Jane, if you're listening, she's got her own podcast actually, Reiki Redefined, and she was talking about altars and giving offerings and things. And whilst I've got like my little Buddha and crystal and stuff that I might rotate around, I thought maybe my crow might like some Twiglets.
That is hilarious. Twiglets. I'm like, please no. So, do you have taste in Twiglets? I just think
Love
they're
a
rank.
Twiglet.
It's like Marmite, isn't it? You either love them or hate them. I've just never been on board with Twiglets. Never.
I love them, obviously, because I ate the rest of the packet and only gave 2 to the crow. And obviously the crow's going to love them because it's my guardian guide. So,
I wonder if the crows will start coming to the window now that you've got your altar there, because you've got a window, haven't you, to the side?
I do.
So maybe they'll come.
Is it crow season? Do crows have a season?
There's crows everywhere, isn't there? I thought they were year round in the UK.
I'll maybe have to keep an eye out.
Is that your box when you said your tarot box? Is that the one that Bob made you?
Yes.
Oh, it's so nice. you show people, because I think it's such a beautiful piece of craftsmanship.
I
Or
have
is
to
it
faff
secret?
with getting everything off
All
it.
right,
Can I
okay,
do it next
don't
time?
bother then.
Because
Next
also
time.
part of the reason for that is because my incense holder, I don't know where the one that Shelley made me, which is much better. Hi Shelley, if you're listening.
Hi, Cheryl.
A much more ergonomic. So this is the one that I bought. I bought this with you when we were in that place in Kirkcaldy,
Yeah.
um, which is a beautiful, stylish concrete incense holder,
Hmm.
but it's really poor at catching the incense. So currently I have a lot of incense on there that I need to hoover up.
Uh,
The one Shelley made for me out of clay is like an orange, a yellow flower, and it's round, and all
nice.
the incense bits always drop on the thing. So I need to find it.
Nice. That's where you want something that keeps it like tidy, because incense does get everywhere, doesn't it?
It's messy. So if
Yeah.
I open that, it's just going to go everywhere
Okay. Next time,
and
people.
into the
Next time.
carpet probably.
It's a lovely box that Bob made for Gail, which I just think is the sweetest gift ever.
Yeah,
And it's like for our tarot deck and
it
stuff. It's
is.
got
He
like a little
was.
compartment in that, hasn't it?
It does. There's three compartments for tarot decks with ribbons, so you can lift
Mm,
them up. There's a long one at the back for incense, crystals, sage, Palo Santo,
yeah.
and then on the lid, which is so the hinge goes right back, is then there's he's routed out space for three cards, so you could do a three-card pull, and then he's
That's
also put a
cool.
slit so you can stand up the cards. It just so happens I've got little are sitting on top of it just now,
If
and
anybody's
it's
interested, get your orders in. We need to get Bob with some samples
absolutely
for the people.
it's
I want one. It's so
it's
nice.
out
Lovely
of
idea.
offcuts of so he rather than chuck stuff in the bin, he hoards as my testament in my house. He hoards bits of wood and he then upcycles them into other things.
I love that. So nothing's going to waste.
No, so that's out of that one's rosewood and oak, I think.
Nice. Does it not smell lovely as well?
Not anymore. It smells
Oh.
of money, money, money.
Yay! I love how you'll be dousing yourself in all of the incense. Yes, money.
I
Love
really
that.
like that. So, like, I do like a bit of incense, but it really bugs me that you can't really smell them and everything merges into one when you're shopping for them. And it's not the first time where I've bought something because I think, oh, that sounds like, or I think in my head, I'm like, that's going to smell like blah, blah, blah. And then
Mm,
you open the packet and you're like, oh my God, that is
yeah.
disgusting.
Yeah. And then you've got a whole box of something that you're like, nah,
Yeah.
nah.
I've got a lemongrass is one that because I bought a Sacha one which was lemongrass. And I really like the smell of lemongrass, but
Mm,
that incense does not smell of lemongrass.
yeah.
It's not nice.
I like lemongrass, like real lemongrass, because it
Mm.
reminds me of like a spa. You know, like when I was in Thailand, like the Thai spas and stuff. Lemongrass is so like.
If only we were in Thailand just now, Sandra.
I feel like one day we'll be doing a little Thailand trip. That would be amazing. Maybe we could do like a retreat or something in Thailand. That would be nice. Like, see, northern Thailand as well. It's like it feels so spiritual. Feels really spiritual and so chilled. There's a beautiful place called Pai. I don't know if it's properly pronounced. Like it's spelled Pai, and like we've got the rice paddy fields and
Mm.
everything, and it's just like it's just so peaceful. The road there absolutely awful. I'm not a good traveller on the bus as it is, and the roads, I'm not even joking. And they were, oh, do you know what, right? So we paid for like the upgraded option, which was like a minibus instead of a coach bus,
Mm. Fancy.
and it was meant to be fancy, but to avoid using more fuel, they didn't turn the fucking air conditioning on in this minibus. And like me as a passenger, who's not a good passenger in a bus anyway, it was so hot, and it's like so humid in Thailand as well, because this was like just after, like round about the wet season actually. I think it was about October we went up there, and it was just like one of the worst travel experiences of my life. But it was so beautiful, like looking out, it was lovely, but I had to stop and like hurl and like at the side of the road. It was not nice. But Pai, northern Thailand, absolutely beautiful. There was a lady up there, called herself Mama Yoga, a lady in her at that time, which is going back like that was 2013, no, 2014, and she was maybe in like her like mid to late 70s. I'm not joking. She was like a lackey band. She was so bendy. She was so bendy. And the shapes that this woman could get herself into, I was like, that is amazing. I remember her always talking about like the body being like a house and the legs being like the stilts. And so like you need to take care of the house to make sure the stilts are able to, carry the house, like talking about
Oh,
the
wow.
foundation. And I really liked how she framed it like that. But I remember going to the classes because like she was doing these classes and she lived in a house on like one of the main streets of the village, and she didn't have a door. She just had a curtain over. Like they're
It's
so
very
trusting,
trusting.
so trusting. And just like curtains over the like draped curtains and stuff over the windows. So like you could just like walk into like our house, which was also our business. And then you went off. We had to get hire motorbikes to go up and go to the actual yoga classes. But it was beautiful because it was like this open hut that was like in the middle of the fields, and you had to watch for the mozzies because there was loads of mozzies. Um, but it was like just this wooden hut, and it was like completely open, so everything was open. So we were practically doing it outside, but I'm not describing it very well. If I had a picture, I would I'd share a picture with you, but it was a long time ago. But it was just such a beautiful setting, and the energy was amazing. So, so chilled, and she was such a cool character. I wonder, do you know what? Do you ever think to yourself, like people that you've met a long time ago, and you're like, I wonder how they're doing, or like,
Yeah.
are they still even around, or are they like, is she still
She's
practicing?
probably on Instagram. She's probably like, what would that be like? 2013, I mean, you was
Mm,
like, oh, 13 years ago. She's probably like, that's fine. She'll be in her 90s.
yeah. I remember she would like feed the ants. The only bugs or animals or anything she was against was the mosquitoes because they are dangerous, you know,
Yeah.
carry diseases and all that. But yeah, the rest of them. So she would like leave little crumbs for the ants, so the ants got fed, and it was very much like a spread the love and all that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It's
it's
funny,
highly
isn't it, when you
cool.
think of people who've like influenced you in your life?
Totally, yeah.
There's a school so Wuthering Heights is out at the cinema, came out. In fact, I think it's coming out on the weekend. It's got Margot Robbie and someone else in it. And I studied Wuthering Heights as part of my higher English.
Okay.
And I remember like that English teacher, and do you know what's annoying is I can't even remember her name now. But I feel like I mean we scoured that book and I remember like being really influenced by her. And I remember wearing a pair of earrings one day because I quite liked I was known for my earrings back in the day. And I remember her saying something to me about it was like a piece of art or something. And I just remember thinking I felt like she was sort of like opening my eyes to things beyond, or the whole class. It wasn't just me. It was
Mm,
not like a Dead Poets Society moment or anything like that. It was just like, but I just remember you sort of think some of these teachers who influence your life,
yeah.
and then even now, like going to be 50, like talking about her, like that would have been like 1993.
Mm,
At Sidebar on the Wuthering Heights, I was reading it, so I persuaded Bob to come with me. But I read a review of it yesterday and it wasn't massively favourable. It was talking about it was like Wuthering Heights done as like a Mills and Boon or something. And I was like, please no, because like it's a really gritty novel and there's
mhm,
lots of there's like there's just loads of like darker themes in it.
mhm.
And it feels like they might have skirted over some of that, and they might not have even covered the whole book.
Oh,
So I know, but I think I'll probably go and see it anyway and just suspend my disbelief. But apparently, it's a bit of a bodice ripper,
oh,
hence the Mills and Boon reference.
there you
That's probably
go.
how I managed to persuade Bob to come because Margot Robbie is very beautiful. And
She
I'm
is.
like, it's a
She's a
bodice
babe.
ripper. I know, I know.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's funny, isn't it? The people that sort of touch your life along the
Yeah.
way, and even the people that maybe you maybe didn't know it at the time. It's maybe only on reflection how much they've touched your life, or the
Mm,
sort of the little phrases or statements or things that you are like even today you still rely on.
yeah, totally. And it's
Does
like,
anyone spring to mind for you? Like if you were to
well, it's interesting you were saying about teachers. Mrs. Nelkin was one, my English
Nelkin,
teacher as
that's an
well.
unusual
Mrs.
name.
Nelkin, yeah. Um,
High school or primary?
high school, yeah. And
What did she teach?
I was a bit of a shit at school because I was I was always very talkative and always very distracted and I struggled to focus. I had so much going on like in home life and emotionally that I just didn't want to be there.
Yeah.
And I found it really hard to focus. So I was the kid who would like be writing and passing notes to our pals. I remember there was one, I'm sure it was Mrs. Nelkin. Oh my God, if she ever listens to this. But I'm sure it was Mrs. Nelkin that had passed a note to my pal Emma, and she saw the note getting passed. And it was like
Did you have
saying,
to read it out?
I think that I wrote something about her. I can't even remember exactly what it was. I know. I can't remember exactly what it was. I don't think it was anything nasty. Probably just that it was boring or something like that.
She's probably like,
No,
yes
that was
or no.
nasty. Imagine like somebody saying your class was boring. I'd be so hurt. But yeah, she really influenced me, and I remember she encouraged us to do our own like writing our personal like our own stories and stuff, and
Yeah.
um, that was like a moment in my memory of like confidence building where she invited us up to like read out loud one of our stories, and mine was really vulnerable. And I remember feeling like I felt safe to do that because she'd shared a personal story from her life. Like she'd lost her husband and she talked about that and shared that with the class. And it was almost like that as a teenager made me feel more confident in sharing my own thing.
Yeah.
So I remember that was like, do you know when you have these like standout moments in your life where you're like, you look back and you're like, gosh, I'm really proud of like that version of myself for taking that was a big thing for me back then.
Yeah. It's a big
Um,
thing now as an adult, never mind as a kid, right?
Gotcha. Um, so yeah, she was definitely someone, and I remember years and years later, I must have been maybe mid-20s, and I was going through like it was when I was like I'm sure it was around the period that I was going through counselling. I was like in a really dark depression, and I remember she got on the bus one day and I pretended I didn't see her because I was just in such a dark place. And you know when you're like I remember, like, I've reflected back on that a lot because I'm like, I would handle that so differently if I had been in a different space, or probably the universe was sending me her to like have that moment of interaction, to even just sit on the bus for 10 minutes together to have a conversation. But I was just so not in a receptive space. I was like very much blocking out. I was like, nobody come near me, like cocooning and just really not in a good place. And so I think of Mrs.
Hopefully she's
Nelson often.
listening.
I
Sandra's
know,
sorry, Mrs.
imagine this
Nelson.
gets to her, right? But she was, yeah, she was somebody that really positively influenced me and has had such an impact on like even my own confidence with writing and stuff. And like it's something that I still do, and not so much stories, but poems. And I love to read and everything. So while I was a bit of a little shit and was like passing notes, and apologies again for, I mean, I think I did apologise to her even at high school. But yeah, like she's somebody that came to mind, and I would love to sit down and have a coffee with her now, and just like have like a grown up conversation, where you're like, you're meeting on a different level. So yeah, I hope that she's well. If you ever hear this, Mrs. Nelkin, thank you. I appreciate you. So she's definitely someone, but there's been so many people. I think that's the thing because I've done a lot of traveling and stuff. Like I've got lots of little stories of people that I've met, like even briefly. Like sometimes it'll be these like fleeting kind of like connections almost of people that like you'll maybe like spend even an evening with or an afternoon or whatever, or even just an hour. Like sometimes I think of like the dog walkers, like that you have random conversations with, and then that becomes. I always think of it as like this tapestry. It's like the tapestry of your life, and everything kind of has a little bit of a thread that goes through. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that's one of those things to bear in mind is like that when you're out in the world and like connecting with people, everybody is influencing someone's life in some way, and sometimes you don't realize just how impactful that is. That's why I'm always like, when you feel compelled to like say something to somebody and maybe you're not even sure why, is like say it because it could be the thing that they most need to hear in that moment. Do you know what I mean? I feel like it's the perfect opportunity for the rammed ass. We're all just walking each other home. I just love that quote so much because it's so true. We really are. We're all just guiding each other home.
We
So,
are.
is there anybody that came to your mind thinking of influential people?
And there's lots like I think like when I had my shop, it's like 5 years, and then like you'd get some regulars come in and things. Um, but like I realized, I think that was when I probably realized that people just tell me stuff.
Yeah.
Obviously, like just share stuff with me, and like I'm a sort of like kind of keeper of stories.
Mm.
Slight side note, I started reading that book you sent me for my birthday, which is called The Story
Oh,
Collector.
yeah.
It's really good actually.
Good.
Um, really enjoying it. It's about
Oh, fab.
there's some bits on fairies in there.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
mm,
And you
um,
got your fairy finger the other day at the
I
coffee shop.
know. I was like, I wondered if that was because I was reading that book. I wondered if that had influenced me thinking that was my Reiki guide. But I mean, maybe. But then I think, well, that book's been sitting on my bookshelf for since August,
Yeah.
and it's only now that I've started to read it.
Yeah.
So I'm
Divine
like, no, trusting the
timing.
timing.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And yeah, so I think when I had the shop, there was like, I remember this one lady, because I was in one location in the grass market in Edinburgh, and then I was there for about a year, and then I moved to the West End. West End, baby. And the there was somebody that came in and she ended up just sharing something that had happened to her. It was like pretty horrific. Um, it was a sexual assault. I think it was a rape, and but she hadn't really like for her to come into a shop was a big deal, and she just came in, and then she'd would browse, but then she'd trying things on. So anyway, but she was there for ages, and then I said to her, she's like, "I'm so pleased I found this," and I was like, "I'm actually moving to the West End," and her face fell, and then she said to me that that was her attack had happened somewhere around there, and I was like, so it was basically moving to a part of town that she didn't go into anymore. And I mean, the West End's quite big, so I don't know where it was exactly, but she just didn't feel safe in that part of the town anymore. And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, that's fair enough. And but she was chatting for about an hour, and then when I moved, and it must have been it wasn't immediate, it was months later, she came in,
Oh,
and do you know, I mean, I don't think it wasn't as a consequence of me. I'm not being in that ego sense in that, but I think sometimes people just need somewhere to park their story to help offload, and
yeah.
not necessarily to a friend or a whatever, a family member, but just sometimes a stranger who'll listen. And actually, it was just I was so proud of her
Mm,
because she obviously hadn't come just solely for the shop, but I think she'd obviously really enjoyed just chatting and what she got from being in the space. And then she decided that she wanted that for herself, and actually how it was just like a sign of strength and courage. And sometimes all we need is a catalyst to help push us out of our comfort
yeah.
zone.
Oh, that gave me
Um,
shivers then, because it's like you've been that catalyst for her as well in a way, because it's
mm,
like you've in a place that didn't feel safe, you've offered her a safe space,
yeah,
and it shifts the energy of association with that
yeah,
environment. Do you know what I mean? Like her making then that new memory, and like you say, taking that courageous act.
mm,
It's like, and I love that because then you're part of
yeah.
her story too.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's
And
like I
that's
like
so
to think that,
beautiful.
like, even just for her talking it out, because, like, I mean,
Yeah,
obviously, it's a very like, I mean, it's a very personal story to share with a random stranger. Um, but like, and sometimes people will be like, "Why would you listen to someone saying that?" And I'm like, because it's a privilege to think I've been
yeah,
entrusted
yeah.
with somebody's story,
Hmm.
and obviously, what I know now about human design, I understand a bit more why, and like my aura, and like there's lots of things that I'm emanating that I don't know. Like we
Yeah.
all are. Like I know it now, but like, so things started to really make sense. And like a bit, I mean, people would share all sorts with me. And it's a bit, in fact, I was doing a workshop for Look Good, Feel Better this morning, and I was saying that it's a bit like when you have these connections with places like that, and if you think of things like getting your nails done by the same person
Mhm.
or getting your hair done, is it becomes like a little bit of mini therapy because it's
Yeah.
somebody that you wouldn't class them as a friend, they're not a colleague, they're probably in the acquaintance bucket maybe,
Mhm.
but actually it's a space where you end up sharing such depth of insight into who you are,
Yeah.
and you might talk through things with them
Mhm.
that that you don't talk through with your friends or family because it is really a stranger and you're just looking for a bit of perspective and someone that doesn't really know you. Um, so it's a really sort of interesting space that I suppose like I was as like with my shop or when I do my styling or even because it's you're providing a service and people are choosing to walk into your place of work and do something, exchange something with you.
Mhm.
But then along with this comes some stories, and I remember I was speaking but to my hairdresser a bit about that, around, like what people must share.
Yeah.
But I do find it funny, like sometimes the things that people have told me over the years, I was just, yeah. I mean, it is an honor and a privilege, but sometimes I'm like, whoa, like, and for a lot of people that might be oversharing, but it might be something they've never told anyone else. And so it's not oversharing, it's just it needed to go somewhere. And they see me as
Yeah.
a safe space to just take that information.
Mhm. It's beautiful, isn't it? I'd
It is.
resonate with that, like being someone that people open up to.
It's weird at times because you're just like, especially like random, like proper random shit where you're just out somewhere
Mhm.
and then like people, you're like, morning, morning, and it's like, blah, 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 blah. And you're
Yeah.
like,
And then I think of
okay.
like the divine timing of it, like
Yeah.
of you two crossing paths. And it's almost like that conversation was like meant to take place. Like you were in the perfect place at the perfect time
Yeah.
for that to happen.
She needed that for her healing, like to be able to just put it somewhere and talk to somebody. And also, like, like you listen, but actually I played it back and because sometimes when things go round and round in your head, there's a lack of perspective and objectivity. And sometimes to talk to a stranger about something, I suppose that's what the same thing is like counseling in effect, really.
Yeah.
But it allows you to receive alternative perspectives potentially,
Mhm.
um, to be seen, to be witnessed,
Yeah.
to be held. Because, like, I mean, the amount of times where I've just given hugs to people,
Yeah, I love
um,
that. And that's
although
where it's like
I,
you look back in your like your shop, it was so much more than, I don't want to say just selling clothes, right? But
it
it
was for
it
me, and I
was,
think that's why I was really sad when I had to close it.
yeah, I'm not surprised. Like because you built a space, you built like a container. There was more than the clothes and the accessories. It was like an experience for people, and you were a huge part of that. And I feel like it's why like we need places like that. We need people who are like really passionate about what they do, because it's not just about the thing that you're selling or the service you're providing. It's like what you bring as an individual to a space. And it's like, I mean, the amount of lives that you've influenced through that period of time is huge, because it's the people who have come in, and then how they've shared that energy elsewhere as well when they've gone back out into
Yeah.
the world. And it's like that ripple effect. It's like,
It is,
where
and
it
especially
goes.
with some of like with like when they've come in and we've been chatting, but then also like with clothes. And I was saying that today. I was like, if you came into my
Mm,
shop and there was nobody in, you could have a full styling consult for nothing, basically, because I just love doing it. And like,
love
and I'd be
that.
like playing around and and then obviously it's a business and stuff, but like nothing brought me more joy than like helping people like figure out where they were going and to see their confidence grow, and like how I just loved it when you saw somebody wearing something that they felt absolutely epic in, and you're
Oh,
just like, that's, and it's such a joy to see.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, like there's that, but then there's like people that influenced me like over the years, and the nuggets, and that's the thing for me. It was a two-way thing with customers. Like, you
Mm,
know, people open your eyes to things when they share stories with you. If you're
mm,
in lessons and nuggets of information, or like people would tell you just like random facts, and you're like,
yeah.
right, okay. And it's
Yeah, I
like, or
love
you'd have
that.
like a right good laugh about something, and it's just like, it's just humanity, isn't it? It's like we're
Yeah.
here to connect with one another. And I think sometimes it can feel like it's, you might live alone and you might think, actually, I've not really spoken to anyone today. And like you could go to, the local supermarket and just say hi to the checkout person, or you could self-serve and ask for them to do your ID check. But like that's not really a rich conversation, whereas actually this like smaller shops and things actually allow you to build community.
Mm,
But weirdly, I remember um, I used to work for Tesco Bank, and I was there just when Tesco took over. It was to be owned by RBS, and so that the whole way of working was, there was a lot of like all the supermarket ethos and things like that. Anyway, we had to, one of the things that Tesco does, or asks all its employees in head offices at Christmas, is to go and work in one of the supermarkets for a day and
yeah.
help out at Christmas, because it's always slammed, and you're always like, you're just like filling shelves and everything. But I'd always wanted to work in a checkout, like since I was like, honestly, I know, love it. A wee bit of like, but I got the bug when it used to be like, you used to have like a push button till with the till roll that come out and like, boop, boop, zzz,
Yeah.
zzz.
You're like, I
And
want to
obviously,
push
then
the
I find it
button.
funny that I did actually have a shop where I ended up with my own till and everything. I love that. But um, anyway, the point of my story is when I was there and I had shared my weird, like lifetime goal of working. I had two things. I was going to write to Jim will fix it. Well, we're not going to go down the
Oh,
Jim
yeah.
will fix it route, but
Okay.
obviously I was a small child and I wanted to have my dreams come true, which was either to work behind a bar as a barmaid or behind a checkout.
Love
Lofty
that.
ambitions indeed. And can I say I have
Ah,
fulfilled both of those? But the
well
checkout
done.
one, when I told the people at the Tesco supermarket that I was in doing my day thing, and they were like, "Oh, we'll see if we can get you on a checkout." And I was like, "All right, okay, cool." But as I was stood waiting with one of the checkout assistants, and we were just chatting a bit. She's got loads of people, and you could see she had a big queue and everything. But they would come and she'd be like, "Oh, hello, Jim. How are you today? And I see you've got some soup, or you having soup for your lunch, and blah blah blah." And then it would be, "Oh, hi, Jeannie, blah blah blah." And I was like saying to this woman, and it made me realize that actually a lot of these supermarkets and having the same staff on the checkouts is actually still community and interaction.
Yeah.
And this whole move to self-serve, and it's like, don't get me wrong, there's times where I can't be fucked talking to anybody, but it really reminded me that actually it's not just about the transaction, and actually it's the
Mm,
human interactions as
yeah.
well that we get from all of these things.
Yeah.
And it was a reminder to me that if you work in a service industry as well, that actually you aren't just serving them and putting their
Yeah.
things through the checkout. Is actually, you could be the only person that person has spoken to today,
Yeah.
and it costs nothing just to be like, "Are you all right?" And I
Yeah.
know that there's pressure on, you've got to have people through the till at such and such a pace and all that shit. But actually, I think that's where good management comes in and recognizes that the loyalty that you get just by allowing the checkout assistant to have an extra 60 seconds to chat to that person,
Yeah.
and actually that ripple effect, and then the brand loyalty, and people are like, actually that shop is really nice, and blah blah
Yeah.
blah. But yeah, I just always remember that. It made me it's like a bit, sort of just a reminder, isn't it, that actually if we go around just ignoring everybody, are we really being a good citizen?
Yeah. It's like never underestimate your impact in the world, eh? Like, so long as you're interacting with people in some capacity, you're having influence. It
Yeah.
doesn't really matter the role, does it, actually? I mean, when it's service based, you're having these interactions and it's like we can totally. I remember it's like it's pinned into my head about 5 a.m. Club. I'm sure it was 5 a.m. Club where it talks about in there. It's like it doesn't matter the role that you do, so long as you do it to the best of your ability. And I think a lot of that is not just our ability to, like if you're working on a checkout, how quickly you're putting things through or how well you're packing bags or whatever. It's like how you're showing up.
Yeah.
Like what energy are you in when you're interacting with people? And it's that whole thing of like leaving people better than you found them. And that's something that sticks with me is like, wherever you go in the world, it's easy to look down at the ground and be grumpy and not bother saying hello to people. I mean, I see a lot of that. And I've been there plenty of times myself where I'm just like, don't talk to me, I'm not in the mood. But actually, it's like little interactions when you're walking the dog and you're smiling at somebody or
Yeah.
how you doing or just making little comments of those little like moments of connection. And then in service based, it's like you say, it can impact someone's life.
Well, I remember my mum saying to me one time with the shop, like, there was a few customers who every time they would come in, I'd be like, oh, like my heart would sink, and I would be like, you are a energy hoover. And
Okay.
but also like the amount of times they would come in and be like, I really quite like this, or you don't have anything my size. I'm like, I do, I've got this, and this. Or it would be this one woman, and I'm like, you've got like I was like, you've got this mulberry handbag here, and that's probably costing like 700-800 pound, and you're umming and on. You've come in 3 times to try on a cardigan that costs 35.99, and I was just stuff like that. But then I would put my game face on some of it. They like there was customers where you would be like, you would be so delighted to see them because you're like, oh, I'm going to get great chat and it's going to be great
Yeah.
fun and we're just going to totally vibe, and they're going to tell me about some books I should read or like something I should
Yeah.
watch. And then but then my mum said this and I was like, but because I was like, I've got to treat these people the same. It's like I might be like, for fuck's sake, just buy the fucking cardigan. Like you
That would
can
be an
afford it,
interesting strategy. Imagine.
you
Right, come
know.
on, love. This is your third time in. It's time for you to just get the fucking
I know.
thing.
It's
Have we
actually.
all just said what we actually thought?
But then, like, you sort of think it's sometimes with these things as well, it's like you've got to play the long game a little bit, which is tricky when you're a small business because you're like, I don't really have, if you think of like the amount, the time that you invest, but then you're like, who knows, that customer might come in next week and buy the thing that's the most expensive item in my shop.
People shop
And
differently, right?
they do.
People shop
And
differently.
also, like, you don't want her to be like, oh, that woman was really rude. I would rather she came in, didn't buy it, and felt like I chatted to her and like recognized her. And I'd be like, how are you doing? And blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, all right, you're going to tell me the same story about your husband today. That's fine. But then I'll be like, so how's your husband? And, so she might never buy something, but I don't know how many of my customers have come to me because that woman has recommended me.
Mm,
So you just never ever know who's watching or listening. And so it costs nothing as well to be nice for 10 minutes and realize
yeah.
that actually when people start speaking to you, like actually how sometimes there's more behind the scenes than what
Mm,
initially comes is projected on the surface.
yeah.
But
That's
yeah,
the
it's
thing is we can make we can make assumptions about people, but it's like we don't always know what's going on, do we? We
yeah, it
don't
takes a
always
lot of
know.
practice, I think, and like
Mm,
um being sort of like calmer and patient. I do laugh actually because like I always used to think like I had a really bad poker face and my face would quite often show that I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Like I wouldn't necessarily say that, but and it's really interesting. I was trying to reflect whether this is like all the work that I've sort of been doing on myself to try and create inner peace and be
mm,
calmer in myself is now actually permeating on the outside
yeah.
because having started at the new netball club and like the co-coach, she was saying to me, she was like, "Oh, I really like it. You're so calm, Gail. You're very reflective. You always kind of give it a thought before you say anything. Everything seems well judged, and you're just such a calming influence." And I thought it was really interesting because, like, if I'd rewound a few years, like, and in fact, even when I was coaching, like, it would be quite difficult sometimes for me to not show on my face what the fuck are you doing? and why are you doing that? And I mean, don't get me wrong, like I think it's good to be expressive at times, but
Mm.
it's really interesting. I was just reflecting on that the other day and I thought, because these people don't know me. Like
Yeah.
this is how they see me. This is my first impression on them is they think I'm a very calm person. And then I thought to myself, I was like, I think I've always been quite a calm person, but there's situations because I'm up and down, I'm like really passionate, and then I could be like, what the
It's
fuck?
like
And blah, blah,
Leo,
blah.
isn't it? It's like that Leo the
Yeah,
lion of being like, oh, I'm just lying, I'm chilled, yes, come into my
yeah.
den, you're safe here. And then it's like, ah!
Absolutely. It was just, I don't know. And then I thought to myself, like, and we've talked a bit about this before around like what I think doing my Kundalini has given me, and probably having better regularity on journaling, um, and my meditation still sort of goes in and out, but I would say that there's it's much more frequent. It's just not necessarily every day. Probably even things like over time, like walking the dog in nature, the things I listen or what I'm consuming or absorbing. Um, but it was just really interesting because I thought it's really funny. Like I think if you'd asked, that's like the teams I've coached before, that's maybe not the first thing they would have said. But she's like, "You're such a calming influence." I'm like, "Okay,
And
thanks."
that's, you
But
know
don't get me
what, it's
wrong,
so
I'm
nice
really
to get
pleased
that.
with that because I
I was
feel
going to
like
say,
as a coach, like that is one of the things where I would be like, actually, yeah, because I like to think that it's thinking before you speak and being very aware of your impact.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice to get that feedback, hey?
It was nice. We were out on Friday at I'm going to shout out to the Tipsy Cows in Great Howarth. I need to work on my Lancashire pronunciation. And it was the netball coaches, and we had the cheese experience.
Oh, that sounds epic, and I don't even know what it is. And I'm just like, cheese, yes,
It was a
yes.
cheesy night.
Oh,
So we started, I have to say it was really good. Like, it started off with cheese fondue. It was their own make of their own blend for fondue. It had a little bit of spice, served with like tortilla chips, luxury. There were luxury tortilla chips,
really?
homemade salsa, and then also a tiger bread, which is baked in Clitheroe. So it's not far.
Yeah.
This
My mouth's literally
fondue,
watering.
honestly, I was like, holy moly, this is amazing.
Yeah.
Followed by, so if that wasn't enough, we then had some platters. There was like a meat platter which had like your usual expect salamis and blah 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 and some pickles and pork pies, and then this big fuck off massive plank of cheese. And I think there must have been 15 or 16 different cheeses. Now there were maybe 10 of us there, maybe not 10, two, no, about 10, but like from all around the world. There was um quite a lot of goat's cheeses, which I'm not a massive fan of. But like the first cheese was like this goat's cheese, but it was like a limoncello cheese. So it
Oh,
had like limoncello on it. There was a chocolate cheese.
wow.
There was cheese made from llama's milk, which apparently is the purest milk. So this is, I'm like, the guy would be very impressed that I managed to observe because the guy, somebody came down and talked us through them all.
Nice.
Um, this llama cheese was from made in Sweden, and it was like it looked a bit like marshmallow, like consistency, and but it was like pure creamy white. Um, there was a Roquefort from Rick Stein's, something to do with him. There was a few Scottish cheeses. There was a buffalo mozzarella from the Isle of Lewis, maybe, but it was made. There's a Canadian farmer up there, and so there was maple syrup on it. There was
Oh,
this other
nice.
cheese that had like a sort of coffee liqueur sort of thing. You had a bit of cheese and then you drizzled a bit of this coffee liqueur on it, or was it tequila liqueur? So it was bizarre. There was the cheese, in fact, I think I've still got a little bit left in my fridge, which was made locally. So it was more like a cheddar, but it was pickled onions and pickled onion monster munch. It's really nice. I really liked
I
it because
love
it was
pickled onion
basically like
monster
cheese and
munch.
onion.
Oh,
There was like a Stilton which was made by this cheese producer in the States that also he was in it was like curry flavor, so it came with like this sort of mango chutney curry sort of saucy
oh,
jam on top of it. There was one that was this looked like an orange, but it was like a cheese. It was made in Scotland, but it was with orange whiskey, and it just tasted like orange. There was this other cheese, which apparently is Prince Charles's favorite, which was some kind of weird thing rolled in Darjeeling tea, and it was fucking awful. There was a goat's cheese with like
cream cheese. I don't know about
beetroot.
that. Like,
There was this really the most expensive one, which was like a red cheddar or like a red Leicester or something. That was tip top. And there was like crackers and everything. Honestly, I mean, there was
it sounds like a
more that
feast.
I can't even remember. It was a cheese feast. It was
Oh, I could go one of them right
tasty.
now. Yeah, totally on board with a cheese feast. Oh,
Mm.
nice.
It was
Love
good
that.
actually. Really
Next
nice
time.
little independent place actually. And the
Mhm.
owners were really nice. I was chatting to her on the way out. Because Bob's lactose intolerant. I was like,
Oh, yeah.
but she did say to me, she was then saying that obviously if I phoned in advance, they would just bring in non-dairy cheeses, so sheep's cheeses and goat's cheeses.
Nice.
And then she was also telling me about one of her customers that would is lactose intolerant, but really likes their fondue, but every now and again we'll go for it and we'll take there's an enzyme tablet that she can take that helps prevent them. So if every once in a while I was like, okay, cool.
Well, there you go. The more you
Cheesy
know.
feast. I
People need to
know.
let us know what your favourite kind of cheese is, because we like a bit of cheese.
What is your
Maybe kindly
favourite cheese?
recommend it. I need to decide like what I'm in the mood for on a day. I really enjoy a Wensleydale with cranberry. Then sometimes it'll be like a chili cheddar cheese. I do like a red
Oh.
Leicester as well. Sometimes a red Leicester with a bit of pickle is nice.
I would
I
never have
also
picked you as a Wensleydale girl.
like a creamy cheese. I do like see a nice brie as well, and like a baked camembert. It's probably good that I don't have an oven in the van because like I would like probably hyperfixate on like a baked camembert with a tiger loaf and just be like, "Mm." I
What's your
love a
thoughts on
baked camembert.
cottage cheese?
Absolutely disgusting. Don't even come close to me with it. It looks like
Weird, isn't
someone's
it?
thrown up in a pot. Just not
I
on
just
board with
don't
it.
get it.
Nah, not a fan. Not a fan at all. No. But I would love a cheese night, a little cheese board.
Maybe that's an option for tea.
Maybe it is. My battery is telling me it's time to.
Oh, shall we do the oracle card then before we lose Sandra? We might have lost Sandra. So I'm going to read the oracle card, and then what's going to be interesting is when Sandra gets to listen to this back, she's going to get the message. So I pulled an oracle from the Naughty Oracle deck, which is a bit of an old school deck for me, and I like it because it's straight talking. And the card that came out today is called the Clusterfuck of Fairies. Time to calm the chaos. So let me read out the message for you because I think we might need to hear this today. Clusterfuck of Fairies. Time to calm the chaos. Look at yourself. You're doing way too fucking much. You've surrounded yourself with a clusterfuck of fairy chaos and have let that chaos overtake you. It is winning. You are falling apart. Slow down and take your time and let the chaos flow past you. Breathe. It is time to grow your wings back and fly. Do you see that fairy walking away from all the fucktard naughty fairies? This is what you need to do. Some things you cannot change, so you need to acknowledge where you are not needed and walk away calmly and quietly. Let the situation ride its course. Your input is not needed at this time. Take back control over your own part of the clusterfuck and only deal with that part. Then walk away and let everyone and everything else fall into place as it needs to be, as the universe's energy wants it to. Clusterfuck no more. Now it's more like cluster cam. Questions to ask yourself. What or who is taking over my life? Where can I find calm today? What is my relationship with calm? Do I allow myself to experience it every day, or do I avoid it at all costs and love to create drama in my life? Affirmations. I choose to release everything from my current life that is creating chaos and acknowledge that I need to bring more calm into my present life. I am calm. I am calm. I am calm. Breathe. Thanks for being here today on the No Taboo Woo Woo show. We'll be back soon with Sandra and I feel better. So until the next time, everybody, have a good week and I'll see you soon. Thanks for listening to today's episode. If you have enjoyed what we were chatting about, please leave us a comment. We'd love to hear what landed. And please feel free to share this with a pal if you know anyone who would be interested. Until the next episode. See you later.